Hi guys, it's Andrew here from Eastonmade Wood Splitters today, and welcome back to the Eastonmade channel. I am out here and I have the easiest to run, most intuitive, user-friendly firewood processor you're gonna buy today. This is our 40C. It's finally done. I'm finally ready to publicly show it to you fine folks here. And I'll tell you, if you're looking for a firewood processor and you have been one of those people that have been patiently waiting for this machine, it was worth your wait, believe me, because this thing is absolutely incredible. It performs amazing. And it's so easy and simple to use. Even Jerry with the G can run this and make firewood and do it with relative ease. So if you're talking to Jerry with the G, you'll have to ask him because he'll tell you all about it. Anyways, guys, this is it. This is a machine. This is the 40C. This is the Eastonmade 40C that we have been working on for quite some time. When we set out on this adventure, we wanted to make sure we made, again, the easiest, the most user-friendly, heavy-built machine that you can go to work with. You can see there's a lot of stuff that is common on our bigger machines, like the live deck's the same, the splitter beam is very similar, tandem axles on it. It still has the big oil cooler. It has the big 60-gallon fuel tank on it, so you fill it up, you can run it for 2 or 3 days. Big heavy jacks on each corner. We're not running little wimpy jacks on them like a lot of companies do. It's pretty amazing here, guys. Right now I have a 24-ton cylinder in this. With this machine, we're going to offer a 24-ton cylinder, and we are going to offer a 30 or a 42-ton cylinder. We're going to offer the big cylinder and then the smaller cylinder in this machine. With that, guys, it's going to be dependent on what wedges you want, how fast you want to go. The 24-ton, if you're doing smaller wood, the 6-way wedge is probably going to be fine with you. That's as high as you're going to go with it. You might get away with an 8-way, but I want to make sure you guys have a machine that's actually going to push our hardwood through. You'll see that with a lot of the European machines. They'll offer an 8-way wedge in a firewood processor, and it won't push a piece of soft maple through with a little bit of a crook in. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure you guys have a machine that you're not going to screw with. That being said, if you want to go up, if you want to run one of our 16-way wedges in this, the same as what our big processors do, you're going to go up to the 42-ton cylinder. That's going to slow down a little wee bit, but you're going to be able to use that 16-way wedge and make perfect bundle firewood with it. There with no resplits, which is, again, really cool. On this size of machine, you don't see that. This is the only machine on the market right now that you're going to be able to buy and be able to do that with ease, guys. It's going to be really, really good. Again, it's so simple, so easy to run. I've got this fired up here right now. Keys turned on. When you turn it on, you're going to come to this screen. You hit enter. This is everything you have to run. I'm not sure if you can see it with the camera here, but run and stop. So turn your engine on and off. High idle, low idle. Very simple. That's your engine screen. Your next screen that you have is going to be your run screen. Turn your saw on and off. If you want to use a manual teach point for the saw, up here for the height of it, you can do that. Other than that, there's actually a sensor up here that tells you how big the piece of wood is. So the saw is always going to come up. The saw is going to be about 10 degrees above where the block of wood is. So that works really, really nice in that regards, because then you're not full stroke on the saw all the time. It's always going to know exactly where it is. You don't need to teach the saw. However you can if you want to. You have conveyor forward, conveyor reverse, and you can adjust the conveyor speed on it. Again, I'm not sure how well you can see it through the camera, but we also have a wood output here. We're still working on this a little wee bit to get it fine-tuned. Obviously with firewood, there's a little bit of a variance from one block to the next, and we can measure them fairly easily. So it may or may not have a cord counter on it, but we are trying it on these first couple here. And then the next screen is going to be your setup screen. So your live deck up and down, turn your lights on, your outfeed conveyor up and down. So that's all there is. There's 3 screens to run on this. It's very, very simple, very intuitive, very, very easy. The other cool thing about this that no other processor in North America has, and 2 things actually, is it has operator presence switches on it. So that machine won't run until you have both of those switches held down. So if you let go of the controls on this, everything stops. So if you have employees working for you or whatever, it just makes it such a safe and easy machine to run. If something goes wrong, you just let go of the controls and the whole thing stops. You can adjust things whatever you want to do with it. It's, again, very, very easy. The controls on are the same as what a normal processor would be. In, feed forward, reverse, saw down, saw up. That's your wedge up and down. It's really easy to run. You can see you're sitting right here. So to adjust the size of the wedge or where your wedge is very, very easy. You're sitting here, you're watching, you have a clear view of it. You have a clear view of everything right here. You can see everything very well. That's your live deck forward and reverse. And if you wish to run your splitter manually, it still has a trigger on the front of it. Now on the other side, this is where it gets really cool. This is where it takes any of the operator skill out of this machine. And I really, really, truly mean that. If you're running along here and you have a log up on there, you hit that button twice and it sends it into autopilot. That thing will cut split wood for you. All you need to do is hold on to both of these controls. Again, when you let go of the controls, it stops. You have to be present at the controls. You have to be sitting at the machine to operate this. Could we fully automate it? Probably. The problem that you run into with this is you're dealing with firewood, guys. You're not dealing with saw logs. You're not dealing with poles. Every block of wood is going to be different. So you have to be sitting here to watch that. Again, maybe in the future you might be able to fully automate one, but for now, in terms of functionality and actually running and working well, that's the way we got to do it. But again, it takes almost all the user skill in. Like a firewood processor isn't a terribly complex machine to run, but there still takes some time to get used to it, especially if you're into crooked wood or whatever, where this more or less manages all of that for you and it works really nice. And again, the tip tray here will normally be up if you're operating it, so it literally drops a piece of wood into it every single time, and it's fairly quick. The full cycle on this, one block to the next, is 4.5 seconds. With the 42 ton cylinder, you're gonna maybe be an extra second. The hindrance isn't the splitter cycle, it is bringing the log into the stopper and cutting the wood. The saw's kind of limitation on it, and it's fast. You'll see it, guys. It's very fast. It's only so fast you can move all those cycles and not be smashing into things and causing a whole pile of chaos. And then we actually have you can see that stopper retracted right now. But you can see up in here, there's actually a measurement for each, or for whatever length of wood you want to do on that machine. Again, guys, this thing's so far advanced to what's out there on the market right now, and it's so simple. It really is. So the chassis in the machine, again, it's basically a 48C or a Bell's 4000, very, very similar chassis platform on it. Big 81X chain on the infeed. It's not little stuff. It's not 60 series chain. There's some other processors on the market that'll run a lighter 60 series chain on it. We don't. We run a full size lumber chain on it. The infeed chain, or the infeed on this thing, is something that's brand new. Again, you're not going to see anything like this on the market. It's a double chain infeed. So what this does, it keeps a block of wood laying flat, and the teeth are really, really aggressive on this. And it's the full width. This is about 18 inches across here, and you can see how aggressive those teeth are. So you always have a positive drive, but you don't have the wood wanting to walk one way or the other. You don't have it want to rock like this when it comes into the saw. And most of the wood always slides down to this corner, so it's always in the right position when it goes to the saw and gets onto the tip tray, which is also very, very important. Again, guys, jacks, like, we just try and build a heavy machine that's going to last for you. There's no point in putting something that's going to be on your boat trailer on your firewood processor. That doesn't make any sense, because these things take an awful pile of abuse. It's a 74 horsepower Deutz diesel. Really nice setup, liquid cooled. Good engine. We've had really good luck with this actually. That was kind of the big rabbit hole we went down after we got it running. We had a 35 horse on it. We went up to this 74. We got good pricing on the engine, so we went up to the bigger engine. And when we did that, well, you're gonna go with a bigger engine, you may as well go to a bigger pump. You may as well put the flow to it. So that's what we've done. This is kind of the same sort of setup that we have on the bigger machines. It's a little less sophisticated. Like we have a couple of gear pumps on here instead of 2 piston pumps. Save a little bit of cost on it doing that. But again, guys, when we go to piston pumps, you're only using the oil that you need. That's the best way to explain that. And you can run these at an incredibly high pressure. So we can run like that 24 ton cylinder is a 3.5 inch cylinder, and it's 24 tons. We're running 5,000 psi to it. Same as when you go up into the 42 ton cylinder, same as on our bigger processors, or 4.5 inch cylinder, but we're running an incredible amount of pressure to it. And again, the key here is not moving as much oil. When you need to move more oil and you have bigger valves, you get a lot more heat, and that's, if you've been around these machines, that is the enemy. That's enemy number one. That is what's going to ruin things. That's what's going to make your life hell, is heat with hydraulic system. So we've tried to limit the amount of heat, and this thing runs nice and cool, works really nice. Same sort of valve setup as our bigger ones, a little bit different, but basically the same idea essentially. So it's again, nice setup there. Sawdust comes out, lands right around here, catches a lot of the sawdust. Did a really good job on the sawdust chute on this one. And this has a 16-foot attached conveyor on it. So when you buy this machine, you will be buying it just the machine, and then you'll be adding the conveyor onto it. The reason we do that is because we have separate conveyor options, guys. You don't need to just buy the 16-foot conveyor. We have a 24, a 32, a 40. We have an attached conveyor. We have a lot of options for conveyors depending on how your wood yard is set up and how your operation is set up, depending on what you want to do with it. So that's pretty well the machine. Like you can see, guys, that we don't cheap out on things either. It's got a like, we've still got the big heavy bearings on the big heavy saw arm you see on the other machines. The saw motor is a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be quite as big. The reason for that is because we're actually running a little blade on this. This is actually same as what you would find on like a buzz saw. So it's a very, very, very thin kerf on this. It's only about 3/16. Really nice setup. I really, really like that blade. After running it for the last 8 months, however long we've been playing around with this, I like that blade a lot. It's a very, very smooth cutting blade. It doesn't grab the wood. It is, for a setup like this, it's going to be automated. It's a way to fly, and you don't need an incredible amount of horsepower to run it. And even when you get in a bigger wood, it still cuts really, really good. If you see a lot of these other small circular saws on the market, they are slow. They're a circular saw, but they are not a very, if you watch them run in person, they're not a heavy built machine, and they're not a terribly quick machine. They're not a real performance machine, where this thing's gonna keep up with any big processor comfortably. I'm very confident in saying that, especially how user friendly this machine is to run. Anyways, guys, I'll quit rambling on. I'm gonna have a lot more on this 40C coming up. I'll go ahead, I'll throw some wood on this. I've got, I fixed my, if you watched the last couple of videos, I fixed my grapple bucket. It was a black one over there, and then I fixed it. We welded some more stuff onto it, and it's actually kind of painted orange and blue and maybe redesigned the whole thing. But if you're looking for a grapple bucket, I'll have some videos on that thing coming up too. We have some side plates for it, but it'll hold roughly half a face cord. So it's kind of the only bucket specifically designed for firewood right now, I think. Like, it'll hold about half a face cord. So if you scoop 2 bucketfuls, you have a face cord of wood. We've tried to do that, so then at least when you're loading wood, you kind of have an idea. I know most guys with your buckets, they have a good idea. But the spacing on this is incredibly wide. It's about 9 inches in between the tines, and they're all 1-inch AR 400. It is a heavy grapple. You need a good machine to run it. But you don't pick up a lot of dirt with it, hardly any at all, because it all sifts out through it, and it clamps the wood I'll get into that later. It's a nice grapple anyway. We're looking for a grapple. We should have something the next couple weeks on that. We're just testing it out here. I'm fairly confident. We have one for a mini skid steer too that we have. If you're going to the show in Vermont, you will see that in Vermont. We will have it on there, moving wood around. Yeah, I'll go fire this up. I'll show you how it works, guys. Well guys, as you can see, that thing is absolutely incredible. There was very little operator input. If you watch my hands on that, the only time you really need to intervene with that is if you're into maybe the last piece of log and need to drop it into the splitter. Other than that, the machine more or less runs itself. You just need to focus on the splitting wedge to make sure you're getting nice even splits around a 6-way or whatever wedge you have, and away you go, guys. It's really simple and easy to run, and you can't really run one a whole lot faster. That's as fast as you're probably going to run a Firewood processor. The other cool thing about this too is if you want to run this manually, you can. There's no reason you can't run this the same as a traditional Firewood processor. There's absolutely, the only difference is that when you hit the button here, it runs an automatic. If you want to run it manual, if that's what you're more comfortable doing, that you can run it manual too. The other thing too, guys, when you look at this too, the thing that's really neat about this is the consistency. Like with this, with a solid stopper on like that, your wood's always going to be the correct length. It's always going to be exact. Where again, a lot of machines that are in this category are you gonna have a little flag or a spring or something you got to try and meet up with every single cut? Where with this, you don't run into that. It's just we've tried to make this thing as user friendly, as intuitive, as simple to run as we possibly could, and we've tried to build it heavy enough to last. Again, guys, you're gonna find some of the European processors are gonna be able to perform very quickly. They're gonna be fast, probably the same speed as that, either strictly saw or bar saw. But if you're running a heavy operation, if you're planning on doing a pile of wood, you're probably not gonna get the lifespan out of them that you normally, or that you would get out of this. Obviously, even just looking at it, you can tell that. Are anything wrong buying one? Probably not. But again, we build things heavy, we build them to last, and that is what we try to do here. We try to build good quality equipment that you're going to be able to grow your Firewood business with and be able to work with for years to come. Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down on the bottom. Like I said, I got lots of cool stuff coming up to show you. I've got more of that thing, a couple other really cool products we've started to come up with here. And again, guys, really appreciate all your support. Hope to see you on the next one. Take care, guys.